Welcome to the deep dive. Ready for a deep dive today?
Always.
We're going deep into advanced language patterns
Oh, yeah?
with NLP expert Michael Breen.
Right.
You shared some excerpts from his teleseminars,
Yeah.
and this stuff's pretty intense.
Yeah, it goes way beyond the, typical NLP
Yeah.
stuff you might have heard.
The basic tricks. It's like how language shapes our thoughts, feelings, and actions,
Absolutely.
and then how we can use that to our advantage.
Yeah, and I think it's perfect for the deep dive audience because you guys always are
Always looking for that edge.
looking for an edge. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so let's dive right in.
Let's do it.
I'm already intrigued by this whole idea of everyone having a unique map or model of the world.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
That's a huge one.
Yeah.
So Breen really emphasizes that this map is how every single person understands reality based on their own experiences and interpretations. It's like their own personal operating system.
Oh, wow.
And before you even think about influencing someone, you need to understand their map. It's like you can't install new software without knowing the existing hardware.
You got to know what you're working with.
Right.
So how do we even begin to understand someone's map?
Observation is key.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay attention to their language, their stories, how they react to things, and you can start to piece together their values, their beliefs, and the experiences that have shaped their worldview.
Sounds like a lot of detective work.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so let's say we've done our detective work.
Okay.
We've got a grasp of their map. What's next?
Then comes the priming. This is about setting the stage for influence by subtly preparing someone to be more receptive to your ideas, almost like planting seeds in their subconscious.
Priming the pump.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now I'm curious, how do you prime someone?
Okay, so Breen gives this fascinating example.
Yeah.
And it has to do with a series of images. So let's say you show someone a sequence of pictures.
Okay.
A dog, a cat, and a house.
Got it.
Then you flash like a blurry image that could be interpreted as either a dog or a cat.
Okay.
What do you think they're going to see?
Well, based on the previous images, I
Yeah.
would guess they're more likely to see a dog or a cat,
Exactly.
even if it's ambiguous.
Even if it's ambiguous, their perception is primed by what they've already seen.
Wow, that's interesting.
Right. And so Breen uses this concept to explain how even simple things
Yeah.
can influence our perception. Like even offering someone a warm cup of coffee before a meeting can make them feel more favorably toward you
Really?
and your ideas.
I'm never going to look at coffee the same way again.
It's like a secret weapon.
I know, it's like a persuasion tool.
Well, it's more
Yeah,
about
it's secret.
wicking that positive association.
Oh, okay.
He also mentions placing flowers in a room
Oh.
to enhance the environment
Mhm.
and just prime people to be more receptive.
So it's not about like tricking them or anything. It's
Oh.
about creating like a better atmosphere.
Yeah, an atmosphere where people feel good and open
Open to new ideas.
to new ideas.
Okay,
Exactly.
I like that. I like that approach.
Yeah, it's about understanding the subtle ways
Yeah,
our senses and our experiences influence our thinking.
right.
And then once you grasp that,
Yeah.
you can start to use those insights to your advantage.
Okay, so we've primed the pump.
Promise pump. Yeah.
What's next in Breen's toolkit?
He talks about the power of storytelling,
Okay.
specifically using polya patterns.
Alia patterns.
So have you ever noticed how a well-told story can just completely change your perspective on something?
Oh, absolutely. Like a good story.
Yeah,
It can make you laugh, cry, or even reevaluate your entire belief system.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what Breen is saying. He says polya patterns are about weaving plausible inferences into your stories
Okay.
to subtly shape the listener's thinking. And he gives this great example about a guy named Isaac who had a crush on this girl
Oh, yeah.
who wasn't that interested in him.
I remember this one.
Okay, so
Isaac tried all the usual tricks.
yeah, flowers, compliments,
Yeah.
you name it.
Nothing worked.
Nothing worked.
Yeah.
So Breen suggested a completely different approach.
Okay, what's that?
He told Isaac to start telling stories about other women who were interested in him,
Oh, really?
even if those stories weren't entirely true.
So Isaac's out there making stuff up.
Yeah, but weaving those plausible inferences into his conversations.
Okay.
So he's subtly shifting this girl's perception of him.
So it's not like he's outright lying.
Yeah.
It's like he's creating this aura.
Yeah, this aura of desirability.
But is there a risk of that backfiring?
That's why Breen really emphasizes authenticity.
Okay.
You know, The stories you tell need to be believable and align with your overall message.
So it's not about lying.
No.
It's about presenting the information.
Yeah, presenting information in a way that resonates
In a way that resonates.
with the listener's map of the world.
You got to know your audience.
You got to know your audience, exactly.
And that's just one example of how Breen uses Polya patterns to influence thinking.
Yeah, he also talks about tailoring your stories to your audience, using metaphors and examples that resonate with their worldview.
Okay, so this is all starting to sound a bit like mind control. Is this ethical?
Yeah, so Breen is very clear
Okay.
that these techniques should be used ethically
Good.
and with respect for the individual.
Okay.
It's about understanding the power of language
Right.
and using it to communicate more effectively, not to manipulate or deceive.
So it's about becoming a better communicator.
Yeah, a master communicator.
Someone who can connect with people on a deeper level.
Boy, connect with people.
And inspire them to see things from a new perspective.
That's a great way to put it.
Instead of like forcing them to see it your way, it's more about like opening their eyes.
It's about recognizing that language is more than just words. It's a tool for shaping reality.
Wow.
Influencing emotions.
That's powerful.
And ultimately creating change.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
So we've explored the concept of the map,
Yeah.
delved into the world of priming, and even uncovered the power of Polya patterns.
We did.
We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we did.
But there's still so much more to discover in this world of advanced language patterns.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot more to unpack.
There is.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait. I'm ready for more. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're still unpacking all this amazing stuff from Michael Breen's teleseminars on advanced language patterns.
Yeah, we covered some pretty powerful techniques.
I know. For understanding people's maps and,
Yeah.
influencing their thinking with priming and storytelling.
Yeah, and, it's fascinating how just these subtle shifts in language can create significant changes in perception.
It really is, but it's not always a smooth process.
It's not. No, it's definitely not.
You run into those people sometimes who
Right.
just resist everything you say.
Absolutely.
It's like talking to a brick wall.
Yeah. Breen calls those people polarity responders.
Polarity responders.
And he says they're the ultimate test for anyone using advanced language patterns.
Okay, I got to know more about this.
Okay.
Who are these polarity responders and how do you deal with them?
So Breen actually identifies two main types.
Okay.
You got your yes, but people
Oh, I know those.
who always have a counter argument
They always have a rebuttal for everything.
for everything, exactly.
Exhausting.
And then you have those who just flat out oppose
Yeah.
everything you say,
Yeah, like almost on principle.
almost on principle.
Oh, I know the type. So how do you even begin to have a productive conversation?
Well, according to Breen, the worst thing you can do is try to force your ideas on them,
Yeah, that makes sense.
because that just triggers their resistance even more.
So what do? You just give up and let them win.
Not exactly. Breen says the key is to acknowledge their perspective and make them feel heard.
Okay.
So instead of trying to steamroll over their objections,
Yeah.
you create an environment where they feel safe to express their doubts.
So it's almost like you're taking the air out of a balloon. If you try and push it down, it just pops back up with even more force.
Yeah,
But if you gently let the air out, it deflates on its own.
that's a great analogy.
And once you've created that space, you can start to kind of subtly guide the conversation in a more productive direction. So you're not giving up on your own ideas.
No.
You're just finding a way to present them
Right.
in a way that's more palatable
Exactly.
to the polarity responder.
Breen actually talks about using a laundry list technique.
A laundry list.
Yeah. For those who tend to disagree with everything.
Okay.
And you offer them a range of options, phrased in the third person,
Okay.
and then emphasize their freedom to choose.
So it's like you're giving them the illusion of choice.
Yeah, you're giving them the illusion of choice while still
Still influencing the outcome.
influencing the outcome, exactly.
Right. That's sneaky.
It's a strategic approach.
It is.
And it's not just limited to handling difficult people.
Oh.
Breen also applies these advanced language patterns to overcoming
Yeah.
phobias and anxieties.
I was going to ask you about that because he has some incredible stories
It's an amazing story.
about helping people conquer their fears.
Yeah, and sometimes in a surprisingly short amount of time.
Yeah, that's the really mind-blowing part.
Yeah, it is.
So how does that even work?
So Breen emphasizes that a lot of these phobias are rooted in a single intense experience
Okay.
that creates this powerful negative association.
Sure.
So to overcome these fears, you need to break that link to the trigger and the negative response.
It's like rewiring the circuitry.
Yeah, exactly.
But how do you actually do that?
So Breen tells this amazing story
Okay.
about this woman who was terrified of flying.
Okay.
He helped her overcome her fear by taking her up in a military plane
What?
with the back door open.
With the back door open, is that even safe?
It worked.
I can't even imagine.
He didn't use any hypnosis or any elaborate rituals.
Wow.
He simply engaged her in conversation, guiding her to focus on positive associations while she was in that heightened state of fear.
Oh, that's interesting.
So he basically reframed the experience.
So he shifted her focus from the fear
Yeah,
to something more positive
exactly.
while she was in the air,
He had her imagine being on the plane,
right?
but instead of dwelling on the negative aspects, he asked her to think about something pleasant and familiar,
Like what?
like going to the grocery store,
Going to the grocery store.
something mundane.
Yeah, instead of plummeting to your death.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's like mentally replacing the scary soundtrack
Yes,
with something more calming and familiar.
exactly.
That's fascinating.
And by doing that, while she was actually experiencing the trigger,
Right.
being in the plane,
Yeah.
he helped her create this new positive association
Wow.
that overrode the old fear response.
That is incredible.
It's amazing how quickly these language patterns can work.
It is, but it's not just about like
No,
tricks and techniques.
it's not.
It seems like there's a deeper understanding of human psychology at play.
Absolutely. Breen emphasizes that understanding someone's values and motivations
Right.
is key to unlocking change.
Hmm.
He tells another story about a woman who had a severe spider phobia.
Okay.
And to help her overcome her fear, he reframed the phobia as something that could harm her granddaughter.
Oh, wow.
So by appealing to her love for her granddaughter,
Yeah.
he tapped into this powerful motivator that helped her face her fear.
So it's all about finding the right leverage point,
Yeah, the right leverage point.
the emotional hook that resonates
Yeah.
with the individual's map of the world.
Their map of the world.
These examples really highlight the personalized nature
Yeah.
of these advanced language patterns.
It's not a generic formula.
No,
You have to tailor your approach
to each person.
to the person that you're interacting with. Exactly.
It's about recognizing that language is a powerful tool,
Yes, it is.
but like any tool, it needs to be used skillfully.
And ethically,
And ethically, yeah. We've covered so much ground already.
we have.
From understanding people's maps to priming their perceptions, using storytelling to influence their thinking,
Storytelling, yeah.
even tackling those tough polarity responders.
Oh, yeah. Polarity responders, they're tricky.
And we've just scratched the surface
We really have.
of Breen's insights on advanced language patterns.
There's still so much more to explore.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been on this fascinating journey with Michael Breen and his teleseminars on advanced language patterns.
We've covered so much ground, from understanding people's maps,
Yeah, priming their perceptions.
right? Using storytelling to influence thinking.
And even tackling those tricky polarity responders.
But Breen takes it even further.
Ah.
He talks about working with people who are forced to attend training sessions.
Oh, those are the worst.
The ones who show up with their arms crossed, eyes rolling, already resistant to everything you might say.
Oh, yeah, you can practically feel the negative energy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they've already decided they're going to hate the entire experience.
So how do you even begin to break through that?
Well, Breen's approach is pretty simple but effective.
Okay.
He says the first step is to acknowledge their situation up front.
Okay.
Don't pretend everyone is thrilled to be there. Validate those feelings of frustration or skepticism.
So you're saying you should actually call out the elephant in the room?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like actually address the resistance head on?
Yeah, like you might say something like, hey, I know you'd rather be back in your desk, and that's okay.
Right.
We're all busy, but let's see if we can make the most of this time together.
I see what you're saying. You're giving them permission to be less than enthusiastic.
Exactly.
Which might actually make them more receptive.
Right, because by acknowledging their resistance,
Yeah.
you take away its power.
Right. It's not this unspoken tension anymore.
Right. People can relax a little knowing they're not being judged for feeling the way they do.
It's like that saying, what you resist persists. By accepting their resistance, you actually create space for it to dissipate.
Breen also suggests incorporating their concerns
Oh, really?
directly into the presentation.
So, like, how would you do that?
Well, if you sense people are worried about the time commitment,
Okay. Yeah.
you could say something like, I know we're all pressed for time, so I'm going to make sure we stick to the schedule and get you out of here on time.
It's like you're showing them that you understand their priorities.
Exactly.
You're on their side.
Right. And by addressing those concerns head on, you're building trust and rapport.
Makes them more likely to give you a chance.
Exactly. And once you have their attention, you can start to weave in those advanced language patterns.
Oh, right. The priming, the storytelling.
Fluff viruses.
To guide their thinking.
Yeah.
And help them actually get something valuable out of the experience.
It's like tuning a potential battle into a collaborative effort.
That's a really good way to put it.
You acknowledge the resistance.
Address their concerns.
And then invite them to join you on a journey of discovery.
I like it. It's been an incredible journey for us, too.
It really has.
Through the nuances of language and the power it has.
It's amazing how much power language has.
To shape our thoughts, feelings, and actions.
Yeah. And remember, this is just the beginning.
There's so much more to explore.
So much more. Keep learning. Keep experimenting.
Pay attention to the subtle ways language shapes your own reality and influences those around you.
Absolutely. And until next time.
Keep diving deep. That's a wrap on another deep dive. We'll catch you next time for another fascinating exploration of knowledge and ideas.